37. Another World. From the Argonautic expedition to the assembly of notables, from the bottom of the nethermost pit to the furthest fixed star beyond the Milky Way, to the confines of the universe, to the gates of chaos, thus far extends the vast field over the length and breadth of which I leisurely roam. I lack nor time nor space. Thither, conducted by Homer, by Milton, by Virgil, by Ossian, I transport my existence. All the events that have taken place between these two epochs, all the countries, all the worlds, all the beings that have existed between these two boundaries, all are mine, all as lawfully belong to me as the ships that entered the Piraeus belong to a certain Athenian. Above all the rest do I love the poets who carry me back to the remotest antiquity. The death of the ambitious Agamemnon, the madness of Orestes, and the tragical history of the heaven-persecuted family of the Atrides inspire me with a terror that all the events of modern times could not excite in my breast. Behold the fatal urn which contains the ashes of Orestes. Who would not shudder at the sight? Electra, unhappy sister, be comforted, for it is Orestes himself who bears the urn, and the ashes are those of his enemies. No longer are there banks like those of Xanthus or the Scamander. No longer do we visit plains such as those of Hesperia or Arcadia. Where are now the Isles of Lemnos and Crete? Where the famous labyrinth? Where is the rock that forlorn Ariadne washed with her tears? Theseus is seen no more. Hercules is gone forever. The men, aye, and the heroes of our day are but pygmies. When I would visit a scene full of enthusiasm, and put forth all the strength of my imagination, I cling boldly to the flowing robe of the sublime blind poet of Albion at the moment when he soars heavenward, and dares approach the throne of the Eternal. What muse was able to sustain him in a flight so lofty that no man before him ever ventured to raise his eyes so high? From heaven's dazzling pavement, which avaricious Mammon looked down upon with envious eyes, I pass, horror-stricken, to the vast caverns of Satan's sojourn. I take my place at the infernal council, mingle with the host of rebellious spirits, and listen to their discourse. But here I must confess a weakness for which I have often reproached myself. I cannot help taking a certain interest in Satan, thus hurled headlong from heaven. I am speaking, of course, of Milton's Satan. While I blame the obstinacy of the rebel angel, the firmness he shows in the midst of his exceeding great misery, and the grandness of his courage, inspire me, against my will, with admiration. Although not ignorant of the woe resulting from the direful enterprise that led him to force the gate of hell, and to trouble the home of our first parents, I cannot for a moment do what I will, wish he may perish in the confusion of chaos on his way. I even think I could willingly help him, did not shame withhold me. I follow his every movement, and take as much pleasure in travelling with him as if I were in very good company. In vain I consider that after all he is a devil on his way to the ruin of the human race, that he is a thorough democrat, not after the manner of those of Athens, but of Paris. All this does not cure me of my prejudice in his favour. How vast was his project, how great the boldness displayed in its execution! when the thrice threefold gates of hell fly open before him, and the dark, boundless ocean discloses itself in all its horror at his feet, with undaunted eye he surveys the realm of chaos, and then, opening his sail-broad wings, precipitates himself into the abyss. To me, this passage is one of the noblest efforts of imagination, and one of the most splendid journeys ever made, next to the journey round my room.